to pull in the Astro Dome with like USHRA?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've pulled in the Silver Dome before.
Sure.
I pulled in Cincinnati Gardens where the track was like 127 feet long with 20 foot of shutdown. And I mean, several people tried it, but as far as to start it and stay consistent with it, other than Indy Super Pull in Louisville, I would give Clint the credit.
Where did Art Arfons dig through the soil and get down to the tile? And he stripped tile out of the base flooring and shot it up into the ceiling.
No, there's a lot of places he did that. Back in the late '80s, early '90s, when they literally had 40 SRO and Pro Shows and TNT. They had, you get the old Power Tracks magazines. Billy Joe had an indoor pole at every hockey arena he could get into.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of times they had. I mean, Mike Witt has told me stories about having a pole in like Salisbury, Maryland, and Philadelphia at the same time, and they built the tracks in both places the same weekend.
Right.
What they used to do back in the day is amazing with the the mods, the four wheelers, two wheelers, monster trucks is crazy compared to what we used to do. But it all died, whenever monster trucks said they didn't need us anymore, and we needed them a lot more than they needed us.
Yeah. Kenzie, can you go up comments a little bit? Scroll up. Yeah. Okay. So no, there was one. Chris Baker had something about changing something they did something in Gordyville. Who was that? Was that Zerby? Vern Zerby?
Vern Zerby did.
They
burnt pistons. They took pistons out of one tractor. What they do, Tucker? They had it back in the back corner, right by the door.
Poor Vern wasn't even there. Jason brought some of these tractors out with their Fords, and he made the finals with one tractor, and he threw the rods out the bottom of the block, right at the pile. And then they pulled the second one, and it didn't make the finals, so and them poor guys got parked right by the Hurricane door.
We could do that.
And they took the motor apart out of one and put the parts in the other one to make the finals. That was Jason Forrester did that.
I remember that.
That was I felt terrible for him, but they're like, "Oh, don't worry about it. We're used to this every day. This is just another day." That was Jason Forrester did that.
Yep. Rusty Oak says we changed a lift pump on a Rexine hot farm tractor during the Friday night flight. He was second hook and it came apart on the line and got changed and made the Saturday finals. That's awesome.
There you go. Effort.
Chris Baker, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania had poles in the farm show building in the 70s. And that's a Western farm show that you're talking about, Ryan, right?
I don't.
Yeah, no, that would have been Arena.
That's Kansas City.
That would have been the same time frame, I think, doing those. Where'd they pull in Denver, Rich Wine? Omer.
I don't know. Ask Omer.
Denver was back in if you look at the old 78 Polar magazines, you'll see Denver, and I was great friends with Jim, Mike Gum, John Klug, Dickie Sullivan, those guys. They said that was quite an experience. From what I understand, the pit area was on one side of the interstate, and the arena they pulled in was on the other side.
What?
So you can about imagine that whole deal. And they said that it always snowed. It was always a blizzard, but it was kind of on a 3-week venture. And this is back before enclosed trailers. They hauled them out there in the snow. They fought the snow. They pulled at Denver. And then I think they went to to San Antonio, and then they went to Houston to the Astro Dome. It was, you talk to these guys, there's not very many of them left around. But Jim Gunn was old enough just to go. He wasn't old enough to drive. His brother was just 16. He was 14. And Klug took him with him and did all that. I mean, it's amazing that, you talk to some of the McKinnons that are still alive, they'll tell you the same stories. In McQueen's, indoor pulling was wild back in the 70s.
Chris Wagel said, I went to a bunch of pulls in the old American Royal building. You had to sit up high by the windows and stick your head out between tractors. That's awesome. Oh.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That's very accurate.
Yeah, I've always said you don't need alcohol at Louisville if you sit in the very top seat when the methanol tractors are going down the track. You'll catch a buzz off the fumes.
One Clint let the light supers pull and tool when I was announcing. When Chiswick or whoever was driving Chiswick's tractors and they spun out in front of me, oh my God, your eyes just watered. Larry, you know that from you had to run light supers in Shipshewana, I think, with the NTPA, right? Larry.
Oh no.
Yeah, Travis told me they did that for a few
Larry, we
years.
can't hear you, buddy. Larry, we can't hear you. We gave Larry technology, guys, but he's been good to this point, I promise.
Jason, enough
Yeah,
of the
there you go.
technology crap. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Tucker, what did the Amish say that year down there at Ship when you let the diesel mini rod run down there?
Oh, that was bad.
He wasn't impressed.
No.
They weren't that impressed.
But the guy took it well. He's still my class sponsor, and he's still, how many class sponsors at any kind of event would sit there and help all his friends? Kevin Moore is the greatest guy on earth. He gets all those guys in line. He helps us push them back to the sled. We start them. We run them down the track, and him and his wife are the greatest people ever. And he said that one day he's going to talk. He's going to convince Donnie Bungart that he's going to be a little sponsor. He's going to be a little small rack and a small tube coming off that mini rod sled. And he's going to, when he gets enough diesel mini rods in the world together, he's going to do it. And I believe in him. He will do it.